sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's JD and the Rod, America's best soccer show, live on a Wednesday. We got past the open. We are charging ahead. All systems go.
We're officially not Minutemen.
We are. Is that what you went with last week?
Well, you, not me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we are back here. Obviously, for anybody who was wondering, and I had at least one or two comments. Hey, where's the show? We had some technical issues because God was pissed at me. I don't know what I did wrong, Jerry. What do you think? What do you think I did wrong?
I think it was his way of having a earthly celebration just for your new news.
Okay, so you think it was a celebration? Because I'm thinking maybe he was like, "How dare you have another child, Jason?"
Oh, geez.
Putting more of my.
I think he was putting his stamp of approval on the fetus that is growing in your lovely wife.
I like how we're going to be scientific. We're going to be technical with the terms. Yes, the fetus is growing inside my lovely wife.
Jesus' wife's pregnant.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I guess I should give myself. I don't know. How should I celebrate that? Should I? No.
Hot dogs and donuts.
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls
my
in
wife,
the locker room.
My wife playing
two fangirls. Wow.
With my wife, only my wife, just my wife. Thank you very much. I love her. Now,
does she qualify as a fangirl?
I don't think she likes this show.
Wait, all of your shows are just this one?
My wife does not partake in my job, and it's fine. There can be a separation here. I mean, she does.
Thought maybe she doesn't like me.
She does stuff I don't understand, so it's okay that she doesn't really want to get into what I do. I think she knows I'm good at it, but that's about it. That's all.
Love the one you're with.
I was going to say that not only do we have the announcement that I'm going to be a father, and by the way, I am. And I said this on Twitter for anybody who wants to send me their credentials to join. I am launching Old Dad FC. It is my brand new club. It's for old dads or people who feel like old dads in spirit. You don't have to actually.
So, like, what is the level you have to be at to join? Like, you have to be having a kid at what age and above?
That's a good question. Again, I think it's kind of it's kind of floating. And again, in spirit can be a thing. If you feel like an old dad and you're only 35 and your kids are 10 already, hey, it's okay.
That means you had a kid when you were 25. You were an old dad.
I know. I had my first kid at 28. I don't count as an old dad with him, but I will be an old dad with my new child who is due in February.
Here's the way I break it down. If in the pictures of the baby at the hospital you have gray or white in your beard, you're old dad FC.
Okay. I think gray might be the distinguishing feature because I certainly am rocking just a little bit of the gray. I mean, just a little bit. Just
a good amount. Listen, I got it too, though.
Let me ask you a question because I've actually had the gray in my beard for a little while now. I've never been bothered by it. It actually, in my single period between when I was divorced and when I met my wife, it actually did okay for me. Like it was a feature that played well to the audience, let's just say. But if I find gray hair like on my head, it is a much more.
You can find just one? No. I've got so many.
It's a good point. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think I'm oblivious to them more than it's not like I have a big shock of gray when I look in the mirror. So my brain doesn't go, look at your hair. Is there gray? It sees the gray in my beard and goes, whatever, that's fine. I think that graying hair is going to be a bigger shock to me.
I think there's other places I'm more worried about getting gray hair.
But those places are not seen by the public, Jared, unless you're walking around in ways I don't want to know about.
I'm just saying that's a threshold I'm not ready to cross. I'm crossing thresholds left and right around here. I'm 43, dude.
I need to know about the biology of this. Is it a thing that gray hairs appear in that area before or after the head area?
Here's the thing. I can't personally testify yet because I'm holding strong. My only experience is.
Wait, hold on. Do you even know? Because I'm thinking maybe are we hardwood floors over there with the commando situation?
Yeah, there's hardwood floors. Oh no! I'm sorry, you meant in my house. No, I would say it's an AstroTurf.
Oh, so it's fake. You're wearing a merkin.
It's only for stunts. Yeah, but my only experience is my grandfather seeing him when I spend the night at the house. It happens. All I can tell you is that it happens.
Whoa,
but it's never happened to me.
Whoa, we have too much information. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Okay, I said this.
What's the crest for Old Man FC?
What's the crest? I think there needs to be some sort of alcohol representation. I'm thinking whiskey is the choice here. You know,
I'm picturing like 2 soccer balls with a bottle of Viagra in the middle.
It could be 2 soccer balls in a ball bag, kind of just drooping in the middle of the crest.
Really, one of those ones that only has 2 balls, but should have like 14 balls in it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's 2 balls, and there's some reason it's hanging, and it's
basically truck nuts.
It's hanging a little, but they're clearly balls. Like in the ball bag, you can see through the
soccer
ball
balls.
bag.
Soccer balls.
Well, but so Telstar, the old-fashioned Telstar ball.
Of course, you got to be old style.
I'm not usually a big fan of that on crest, but I think I have to make an exception in this situation so it's clearly identifiable, right? Are we thinking shield, circle is the way to go these days?
I think the shield is actually the Medicare shield.
Oh, right. That makes sense. So does it have like the staff with the snake wrapped around it?
Yeah, but the snake is really limp.
I don't even.
Damn, dog, that's in a pro.
All right, so Old Dad FC is a thing. I'm taking applications.
Wolf, you got a job to put all this on paper, huh?
I did say I might be hiring Matt Wolf to do the badge for Old Dad. Although we come up with the concept already, I know what kind of work he really has to do here, Jerry. It's pretty done.
Surely there's a like a 12-year-old somewhere that can put this on paper.
You made that announcement for me, the personal news, and thank you very much for sharing it with the world. The other news, the news for you and me, and our relationship, and she's around here somewhere. Our relationship predates my relationship with my wife.
Damn right, you tell her to respect that.
Yeah. We last week announced, and we didn't do a show around it because of all my issues, but it was announced through a press release that Jared and I are bringing back in actual name the Best Soccer Show. It's happening for real, and we know.
Can't wait for you to do the here we go off the top and follow it up with Best Soccer Show, because I know that's still hard for you to this day to not go right into that.
It doesn't feel natural. The JD, I love the joke of JD and the Rod. The thing, it's an in joke, right? It's what we talked about. Like, if we were morning to show DJs, if JD and the Rod on 98.3 The Noise, like that's the joke. But I realized that doesn't cross over, and we always, from the very beginning that we talked about bringing back a show about soccer, wanted to call it the Best Soccer Show. We're doing that. It's happening, and we know when. Jared, do you want to tell the people like what we've got coming? And we can't give you all the details.
Can't tell you everything, but there will be only one more JD and the Rod show after this one. So we're very close. We're looking at August 11th.
If you're an American soccer fan, you should know what's happening on that day, or you should be able to check your calendar to find out what's happening on that day.
There's something happening that day, we'll be doing something around that.
Yes.
And I can say that we'll have a pretty good guest if all things work out the way they look like they are. Someone that I think that you don't hear many places, and someone that you would like to hear us ask questions of.
Yes, I think you will want to use your ears to listen to this person talk about soccer. That's what I think, Jared. That's just my gut feeling, that people are going to want to use their ears to hear him talk about soccer. What do you think?
I mean, unless we're going to put this out in Braille, I think that's the way it's going to have to happen.
I'm just saying, you're going to be wanting to use your ears to listen to this guy talk about. It is a guy.
You're free to guess, but I'm still going to tell you no to everyone, even if you name them.
Well, no, look, if you come at me in Instagram messages or Twitter DMs, or hit us up on the Slack if you're a Patreon member, and you get it right, I will say nothing.
Yep.
I won't confirm anything. I won't deny anything, but I will say nothing. That's the promise I make to you.
We're excited about it, and we're excited to bring the show back in its original concept, the way it is. We've partnered with some really good people that are going to be doing some really big things in the soccer space in the near future. We're happy to be part of a collective.
How I know it's kind of like seeping in. We've had some meetings, we've had some chats. We were just talking before the show that there's a little bit of corporate speak that bounces around. Jared just said a company moving into the soccer space. the soccer space, Jared.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, it's nice for us to be partnering with some people that have the ability to take the show someplace that we couldn't just do on our own.
Look, it's out there. It's the Soccer Collective. It's the new project that's been backed by Richie Graham, who's part owner of the Philadelphia Union, and the guy behind the YSC Academy that has pumped out Brendan Aronson and Mark McKenzie, and then it's Anthony Fontana and all of these players that are coming through the Union system. Richie is a believer in American soccer, and when I say that, I mean he is a true believer. He absolutely is a zealot for the future of American soccer. And what I love about this relationship that we're forming and bringing back the Best Soccer Show is that they have told us, and they said it from the very beginning, we want you because you're American. We want you because you guys are unapologetically American. You don't throw any Euro, bull, whatever on top of we don't have to say pitch, and we're not saying boots, and we're not out here. You might say boots.
I do say boots, and I say pitch sometimes. I go back and forth. But listen, at the end of the day, we're saying it because we want to, not because we feel that that's what is expected. And that's why I think we're happy to have a sister show. This looks like it's gonna be coming out with Orange Slices with Heath Pierce and Mark McKenzie. Yeah. So really, really cool things are happening in this space. So what you guys need to know.
I'm gonna laugh every time you say space. It's just such a modern word. We're moving into
I'll make sure not to talk about NASA.
Well, then we'd be actually talking about space, and that would be okay. But like we're moving into the independent winemaker space, and we're trying to really
what we need you guys to know. The feed will be changing. The feed will be changing.
Yeah. So that's the most important part for anybody who listens to this show regularly, that the JD and the Rod feed will end publicly, and we'll move over to the Best Soccer Show feed, and we'll tell you how to get there when all that happens. We'll come back here and leave a message for people who can to find it for sure. But also the other thing about this, and this is the last bit of show behind the scenes stuff that we'll get to, housekeeping, is the Patreon will continue. It will continue as JD and the Rod, just in the name of the spirit of that and the fun that we have there. And we're going to continue to make some bonus content for you. So if you want to help, if you want to back us on that platform, please do. And you'll get insider access to the Slack that we run, which is just absolutely going nuts these days. People are talking about, routers and beer and whiskey and wine and what else?
Emo music,
people moving across the country.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that last week. We didn't get a chance because there's a whole night where all we did was talk about emo music on the Slack. But listen, you guys, there's plenty of stuff going on there. It'll stick around. And also that's how we're going to keep Nikki Soup and Sausage in maple brown sugar Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Through the Patreon.
In his Skyline chili and maple brown sugar Pop-Tarts. That's how we keep him in that good stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he'll be coming over with us as well. And so much credit to Nikki. I couldn't have done this new version of the show without him. It would have just been an audio file, and that's it. And the fact that you guys, if anyone watch it live, you see all the bells and whistles he puts on it, really big help and great addition to the show and a great voice on the show.
Okay, so that's the housekeeping. That's the business of the Best Soccer Show, JD and the Rod, and all of that. Let's talk actual soccer. And first, let me open the phone lines. We got them at 717-727-2378. That's the phone number to call us up and talk about, well, anything really. But, Jared, I think for this show has always centered around the U.S. men's national team. And while we obviously celebrate the U.S. women, they don't need as much help. So we're here returning to the Best Soccer Show format to help the U.S. men's national team get back to a World Cup. Because, again, a reminder, the U.S. men's national team never missed a World Cup while the Best Soccer Show was on the air. And
if it was up to us, that line would be on every bit of promotional material for the new show.
Yes. And by the way, hashtag BSS is back. That's the hashtag you need to use as we move towards MLS's back final on August 11th. There, I just dropped that for you. All right. So we're waiting for the U.S. men's national team to get back to World Cup after missing in 2018. And because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the shutdown of everything this year, Jared, there was a question as to how CONCACAF was going to handle World Cup qualifying. We know. Now, I'm not going to say that we know for sure, because even if CONCACAF has a plan, the pandemic could throw a wrench in it again. However, CONCACAF has a format that they want to do. Do you want to go over this? You want to talk about what CONCACAF has going?
Yeah, I think it's important because I literally had to read it 2 to 3 times before I really understood, just because the way they lined it out, I don't think made it clear what the early round is of this. So, and whether or not USA was participating and stuff like that. So I think it's something we need to kind of lay out there for you guys. So for some of you guys, it might be a little bit of review, but I think for a lot of you, it might help.
Okay, so this is the way they're going to do it. Instead of the hex, with the tried and true hex that we all grew up with and loved and watched the U.S. men's national team win on a couple of occasions.
And fail on one.
and Phelan won. And obviously, that's a round robin against the 5 other teams in the final round of World Cup qualifying. 3 spots on the line, a playoffs position as well for the half spot that CONCACAF gets. You play everybody home and away. Because of the constricted time schedule, because of everything, they're going to, instead of the Hex, are we going to call it the Oct? We're not calling it the Oct, right?
Some people call it the Ocho.
The Ocho's derivative. I'm not going to, I like dodgeball, but I'm not going with the Ocho.
I'd rather just call it the Octagon, like in MMA.
So like the MMA ring, the Octagon. So the other way to look at it
Tonight facing off in the Octagon.
The Hex, Mexico, United States in the Octagon.
No holds barred.
In the Hex, Hex was short for hexagonal, right? Nobody said, oh, it's the hexagonal. We said the Hex, right? Because we're American and we shorten shit. That's what we do. Is octagonal, should it be octagonal if we're going to say the whole thing? Even if oct doesn't sound good, we just go with the full version, octagonal.
In the meantime, while we're talking about this, we need to start just in the background thinking about what are things that there are 8 of, and like you can call it the octopus. That's no good. What's some other 8 stuff out there?
Octomom. There's an Octomom.
I don't think there's a good track record of success at that.
No, Octomom didn't. She wasn't good. That wasn't a good mom. That was just she had.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else. 8's a weird number, man. The snowman.
Yeah. You know what? That's not bad. I think that's interesting. It's also, if you turn it sideways, it's an infinity symbol. Getting a lot of run out of that these days. Here you want to call it the infinity round. That's kind of.
You got a better name? 717-727-BEST. Let us know.
Or hit
us in the chat.
Hit us in the chat. Hit us up on Twitter at JD and the Rod, and we'll take your suggestions, because I think it's important. I think it's incumbent upon us, Jared, to really set the tone with the name of this. Being the tastemakers that we are, we have a responsibility to drive this bus and get us to a name that we can all agree on. And again, I'm lukewarm on the Ocho, and I'm obviously the Oct is kind of a weird sound coming out of your mouth. It doesn't flow like the Hex, and the Hex has that double meaning too, because that means something like a bad spell, like bad luck.
Yeah,
with that. But we'll work on it. Now, here's the other part of this. We don't know if this is going to be the only time this thing is ever done this way. We don't. And I haven't even gone over the real format yet.
I have a feeling that a lot of things going on right now are just going to become the way they are. Like the 5 subs I told you from the beginning. I think 5 subs is going to be staying. I don't think that's going anywhere. Water breaks are staying even when it's not summertime. I think there's a lot of, because there's ad opportunities to run commercials and stuff like that during those kind of things are going to make the decision. So once these things are out of the bag, I don't think a lot of them go back in. So who knows? This might be the preferred thing, but also it's nice to hear that 5 teams are going to have automatic bursts all the way to the last round. And it's really nice when one of them is your country. Yeah.
So this is the thing: the Oct, or the Octagon, or the octagonal, or the Ocho is going to be the 5 highest seeded teams from CONCACAF in the FIFA rankings as of this month. They've already cut it off. So that's Mexico, that's the United States, that's Costa Rica, that's Honduras, and I'm missing
Canada, Jamaica.
No, Jamaica. Jamaica's definitely in there. Then the last 3 spots will be determined through a tournament of the remaining 30 teams in CONCACAF, playing in 5 groups of 6.
5 groups of 6, top 2 of each.
No, sorry, 6 groups of 5, Jared. Let me get that right.
Sorry, you're right. 6 groups of 5. Top 2 from each of those go to a second round 2 of that tournament.
No, only the winner of the group moves on to a playoff. See, you're already confused.
It already is confusing. I'm sorry.
Different. So the winner of each group, of the 6 groups, goes into a playoff. So that's 3 different playoffs for those 3 final spots in the Oct, in the Ocho, in the octagonal, Octomom round. So that's how that will work. And then in that round, those 8 teams, you will play 14 games.
What if we call it the Master 8?
That's no, I don't. There's a line. There's a
Rodius.
It's called the Rodius line. Okay, it's where things
sounds like fun.
Right up to the edge, and you're like, man, this is great. I'm having a great time. This is fun, and then it tips over, and you go, I'm uncomfortable now. Now you're up.
You're gonna want to call it that later in the show.
You're gonna the Rodius line, or
the Master 8,
the Master. I mean, you could call it the Great 8. You could call it the I don't know, the Final 8. You could call it many different. Again, hit us up with your ideas. If you want to try to find the roadiest line, be my guest. You can absolutely do that. All right. This for the United States, Jared, and the way that this works in terms of the schedule. The round 1 games will start October, November of this year. Now, I think I have some questions about whether or not the pandemic will let those happen, but let's just put that to the side now because we're not epidemiologists and we're not Grant Wall's wife. We have no idea. Okay. The games for round 2, which is the 6 group winners playing against one another, will happen in March of 2021. Also, that I believe that's when the Nations League games are supposed to be taking place that we didn't get to play because of the pandemic, which means the United States against Honduras, Mexico against Costa Rica, with a final whatever. Do we care about that? Sure, maybe it's a game.
No. It's the League of Nations of tournaments.
No, I understand that, but it's also a meaningful game that the United States will get after having not played at all in 2020. At least a meaningful game. There might be some friendlies this year. The actual final round, the octagonal, the Master 8 is going to start in June of 2021. So Jared Dubois, keen observer of the U.S. men's national team, of this young group of players, of the current situation after the failure to qualify for Russia 2018. Good, bad, indifferent. What does it mean that we won't see these games until June of next year?
I'm a little bit worried by it. Just the fact that there hasn't been a way to. I'd rather be in the U.S.'s position than, let's say, Canada's position. So let's make that clear right now.
By the way, this is a boon for Canada. This is a big deal for Canada because if it was the old way, or if it was the way that CONCACAF originally proposed it, which was the top 6 teams by ranking would make the hex.
Chronically 7th. Canada, chronically number 7.
Chronically number. That's right. They're always just on the outside looking in.
They're always on the bubble. So this is a chance for the Canada
standing outside the window, wearing the Canadian tuxedo, looking in as everybody else has a party inside that they're
Everyone's
not.
assuming it's going to be Canada. Maybe the Trinidad and Tobago sneaks in there. Maybe Guatemala swoops in there. Maybe Curacao.
You will
remember how they looked in the Gold Cup.
You will have 6 seeded teams. So that the groups are going to be seeded. At least there will be a top seed, and everybody else will be drawn in. Curacao is one of those seeded teams by rankings in CONCACAF. So, and trust me, I'm going to be rooting for Curacao to make the World Cup. That would be.
I would love to see Canada. I'd love to see Curacao. I think both of those going into the Make America 8 again. I think that would be a great 8 teams.
No. I'm not going to let you walk away from that. No, that's not.
What? What happened?
What did you just say? Did you have another name that you just threw out without actually like warning us that it was coming?
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no way I would do that, especially with a phrase like that.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so in the end, 2 teams go in, join the 5 seeded teams that are already there based off of rankings for an 8-team round robin where the top 3 move on, and 1 team goes to the half a bid.
Goes to the continental playoff against another region, which I believe
so the same amount of teams are going, and USA gets a ranked spot in there, but it's just slightly different. And like to answer your question, it makes me a bit nervous that the U.S. isn't going to have a meaningful game in 2020. But based off of where we were when we last saw the national team, where Pulisic was hurt, Tyler Adams was hurt, Gio Reyna hadn't played a significant minute. There's a lot of stuff that Meston McKinney was in and out as well. There was a lot of things that made me extremely nervous for what the games that were on the slate for this summer. I'm happy things have pushed, to be honest with you, because I feel like we're a stronger team now than where we were if we were playing games against, let's say it was the Netherlands, I believe, that we had in March or April.
Well, look, I do think that the time off benefits the U.S. in terms of health, of fitness. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But you don't have any reps, right? You get 0 reps or very few reps with everybody playing. There might be a chance in the October window to get something close to a full. Although I think Berhalter has talked about this already. They might play with a domestic team because they might not be able to travel. Like travel might be a real problem right now. So you're not talking about any meaningful minutes, even in a friendly, for anybody until 2021. And that's just a long layoff. You're basically starting from scratch.
Here's the other thing too. The U.S. is not new to a domestic team and a European team for fixtures because we often play on dates that aren't true FIFA dates, or you've seen domestic players a lot. You couldn't get European players released for certain windows. Let's not forget that Netherlands game that was going to happen. That was going to be a European roster. So
Yeah.
There's still the talk. Bruno was talking about a domestic game first in the October window and potentially a European date in the November window. I think you can still play those 2 games. You're just gonna have to staff them. The problem is, can the actual administrative staff get to Europe or not?
That's a good question. Sure. But even then, that's not ideal because you do have players based in the US that you need to have in your team that are going to fill out your roster. That in some cases,
But isn't that the lesser of 2 evils, Jason? Would you rather not play games?
No. I mean, I understand. And I think Mexico is doing that, by the way. I think Mexico's playing a game in Mexico with the domestic based squad in a non-FIFA date. And then they're going to take a bunch of guys who are not necessarily in Mexico, or I don't know. They don't even think it makes
this is the next evolution in COVID soccer. Zoom with a tablet on wheels on the sideline. Tata Martino coaching his team from a tablet.
Yeah. Maybe that's where Holter can Skype connect to they can put him up on the virtual
big boards. Yeah,
they can put him in the stadium on the. He can literally be
virtual. The players don't see it though.
No, you're right. I realized that, but
we need the surrogate from Arrested Development. That's the technology we need here.
Right. We need like the little robot with the iPad, right? That's running around just so you can see what's going on. You can didn't they do that in the office too? Virtual party attendance, something like that.
Oh, maybe something like that. Yeah, I think there was something like that.
Maybe something like that.
There's all sorts of unprecedented concerns that people are going to have to figure out along the way. I'm glad that there's games on the schedule, or at least there's windows on the schedule. I'm glad that we're talking about this and there's talk about potentially getting this stuff back. I put it at 50-50 at best right now, whether or not this stuff actually happens by then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into the negativity. I don't want to rain on the parade. I don't want to be down.
Negative, dude. I think it's being honest.
No, it's being real to some extent. Again, we're watching like the pandemic continue to roll on. And by the way, wear a damn mask. But, I want to also believe that something is possible. Let's take, for example, as we talk about stuff that's happening right now in American soccer, MLS is back, has had 3 straight weeks of no tests positive in Orlando. Now, again, I have issues with them using all those tests and what that means exactly. And should they even start this tournament? But they've done it and they haven't had an outbreak and the bubble has held, Jared. And now we're at the quarterfinal stage and stuff is getting real.
Well, not just that, MLS and NWSL are now the benchmark for every other professional league. And baseball is being held to MLS and NWSL standards now. They're like, this isn't working, what you guys are doing in baseball. Yeah. Look at the patterns these 2 other leagues set. The interesting thing is to look overseas and see how those players didn't have to bubble. They didn't have to go to a city and stay in a hotel. They would go from city to city and play the games. That's the difference in a society that's actually like heeding the warnings and doing the right things as a society. We unfortunately are not in that position. So we have to find another way around it. I bet you the NBA is going to have equal success to MLS and NWSL. Baseball, NFL, I don't know about these sports making it all the way through their new versions of their seasons.
Yeah, there's some questions about that. I mean, again, it's different because this is a bubble situation. MLS wants to play in market after this, but for right now, I think we have to talk about some of the events. I know you'd rather not because the Galaxy crashed out and it looks horrible and maybe they should fire GBS. By the way, thumbs up or thumbs down on GBS right now?
I think I'm thumbs down, but I'm more thumbs down, I think, on Chris Klein.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Klein. I don't know why that. I was picturing the actor from American Pie when I said that out loud. Same name. I know, but for some reason it didn't seem right in my head when I said it.
By the way, I think Chris Klein, soccer guy, might be a better actor than Chris Klein, actor. I'm just not a big fan.
Here's the thing. I liked Dennis Tuclosa. I thought it was a good hire to bring Dennis Tuclosa in. I'm worried whether or not he's being given the financial freedom to make decisions. It feels, if you think about it, the Zlatan deal didn't really cost as much of anything. Really didn't.
No, I mean, you got so much attention. I mean, that's the Galaxy move, right? Let's sign somebody big name, get a bunch of attention, and obviously he scored 30 goals. You can't really turn.
Ty they got on the cheap because he didn't do too well in Chicago. Then his wife went rogue, and that was obviously bad. And that's a big part of I think that's one of the large parts of why they were unsuccessful at MLS's back. I mean, you have one of your DP level players that all of a sudden is not there. Then you have Chicharito not there. You have Jonathan Dos Santos also not there. Those things tend to hurt a team when the 3 biggest payroll pieces are not on the field. obviously Vela not being there for LAFC doesn't seem to be hurting them too much.
No.
But they also had an embarrassment of riches on the up and down their roster.
Yeah, but that's because they put together a good roster. John Thornton is obviously really good at his job, right? And they have the mandate to spend some money, but it's not like LAFC went out and spent. I mean, Carlos Vela gets paid. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like they went out and spent $20 million on transfers to get the players that they have, and they're gonna make 10 times what they paid for Diego Rossi when they finally sell him, which is a huge credit to them.
Did you see the infographic today where he's outscored 14 of the teams at the tournament?
No, I did not know that.
His 7 goals are more than 14 teams, including the LA Galaxy, at this tournament.
We do have a question. Jared, we put this out there on Twitter a little while ago, so we're going to collect some of them in terms of tweets. But the question is, as we talk about these quarterfinals and the matchups coming and the round of 16 we just witnessed, what are the things you want to see continued after MLS is back that we have happening right now in Orlando? So in terms of what you've seen in terms of responses, Jared, what do you got here? You got a couple of those?
The number one across the board in terms of good development, and this was going to be my number one if no one else had said it, by far and away, the thing that more fans have enjoyed than anything else is the mic'd VAR discussions.
Right, yeah.
That peek behind the window to knowing what is happening, what's being said, the way that they're looking at the data. Just last night, and I'll let Nick come in on this because this is his team. I'm sure it's something that he doesn't really love that much.
Well, look, if it's offside, it's offside. However,
it was legitimate.
I do think you can take issue with the clear and obvious element of this. He says, "Oh, he's leaning." My God, is that what we're doing with VAR now? It's if you're leaning.
Okay, I'll call it, but you would do it on a goal. Let's say it was a goal. Like, oh, there's one panel that's not quite across, not a goal then, right? No,
I'm just saying that we get down to this granular determination of offside. If we're going to stop the game and do this whole thing for calls that are so marginal.
I agree with you. I never wanted this in the first place. I think VAR is a distraction from the game.
Old FC stance on VAR is get it out of the game. Okay?
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with the fallibility of sports. I'm okay with it. I think that's what makes sports the coolest thing out there, is because sometimes you go 20 years without winning because there's a curse upon you, you know?
There's a hex on you. I do think that if you're going to have it, as you said, and as the fans have said, to have a peek behind the curtain, to get the sound of the referee running over, saying, "Oh, is this the moment the ball is played? Roll it forward, let it play." Oh, he definitely, he walked it through. So the referee had obviously seen something on the field. Obviously, the assistant referee had seen something on the field. It's not like he went into that with presumptions. Oh, did the Cincinnati player touch the ball? Clearly, he touched the ball, but he wanted to see it to confirm it in the VAR process, which was the interesting thing that we got.
And if he's leaning, even is on, right?
I know. Again, look,
leaning is off.
The law is written the way the law is written. It is off. I just don't know if it requires us stopping the game and penalizing a team for a player leaning.
But here's the thing: it's either on or off. If VAR is on, that is the right way to use it.
By the way, that's not the case, and I really don't want to railroad the show with a VAR discussion. But it is not either. There are so many variables still in play. That's not a perfect angle down the line. You can't tell me that that's 100%. We have no. I'm just
saying.
Nick is
nodding so hard right now.
It's true, right? I mean, you can't be positive that is the exact representation of where everybody was, and there are pixels involved. I don't care how good your shot is. There's a lot of things that are happening that can change the way our eyes perceive that moment. And it's like, why even bother trying to get that specific about it? If it's like, oh, he was leaning.
Face technology to blame everything on Freddie Adu.
Alex Jermaine Jones has a feeling about VAR. Is he pro or con? I don't know.
I'm okay if it's going to eliminate all the pinko commies and getting goals, but on the other side of it, it's totally unhuman.
Is it a Chinese conspiracy to keep to conquer America? I think that's probably
Chinese. Is the West Coast, East Coast liberals has nothing to do with the Chinaman.
Okay, all right. Careful. That's Alex Jermaine Jones talking. I just want to say, let's be careful here. Nick, did you have any problem with that VAR call though?
No. As soon as I saw the replay, I thought it was offside. So
okay,
I wasn't upset about. I was more upset about our DP striker not converting a sitter and a penalty.
So the sitter was it was ugly, but the guy's got so much rust on him. It's impossible to kind of hate on it too much. He had one training session before they activated him for that game. And, I don't know. Obviously you're looking to pay a lot of money for him potentially. I think it's the options 10 million. They just extended the loan after it was going to expire during the pandemic. So I don't know how much you hate on Jurgen Locadia. What else, Jared? What else from the tournament? Oh, I see this one. Atlanta losing all its games. People want that to continue post tournament.
I like that one.
Okay, we lost Jared's microphone, I think. So we're gonna have to figure out.
I don't hear him at all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people don't. There you go. All right,
that's weird. It was like it was muted, but it wasn't marked as muted. I think that thing is one healed knee away from not happening anymore. I think they're one Joseph and Martinez away from being good.
But do you think Frank DeBoer really was the guy? Because obviously,
I think it was still a good decision to get rid of Frank DeBoer. He doesn't play what we considered for 3 years to be Atlanta soccer.
It was only 2, by the way. It was only 2 years.
I apologize. Yeah.
But that's how quickly they established. Okay, this is who we are. We're Atlanta United. This is what we do. And look,
it's like when it's like American TV. You have a hit show, like say a Lost. Well, we're going to do that for 7 seasons. No, you should do it for 3 and have a good story.
Right.
You know, like
so Frank DeBoer is the smoke monster. Is that what you're telling me?
I would say in America, you should do the thing that's working until it doesn't. That's why you end up getting 7 seasons lost, because it makes money. Atlanta is making money. I mean, they're cashing checks with that style of play. You got a whole team of 23 people to play that style of game. Yeah. Then you come in and you want to do something completely different.
And then after you look, they made a conference final last year. Let's not take that away from Frank DeBoer, but it's not like they played great soccer, and they definitely struggled at times, and they were saved by the guy with the knee you were just talking about, Joseph Martinez, because he went on this incredible run and just saved them. But they went into that offseason after losing to Toronto in that conference final and said, okay, let's reboot the system. Let's get rid of a bunch of guys. Look, I know Darlington Nagbe wanted it out, but Darlington Nagbe's out. Leandro Gonzalez Perez is out. Julian Gressel is out. He has the thing with the club over his contract until they trade him to DC. It just was wild how they sort of handled all that. All right, looks like we might be doing a JD and Nikki Soup and Sausage show for a little while here. There he is. I don't know what's going on. Jared, are you having storms? Is it thunderstorming in Southern California?
Listen, it is. There's winds of 10 miles an hour, so that's pretty bad here.
Don't do that. It made me feel so bad. All right. Do you want to go through these quarterfinals?
Okay. Well, there's a couple. Just so you know, just with our question at hand, a couple things people do not want to see.
Okay, that's a good one.
Some of the things that people saying that they didn't want to see coming out of this, the half circle logo, the logo and the Adidas in the middle.
The Adidas logo shrunk and got normal size after the first couple games.
But even then, it's just like so weird that it's like it's different, right?
It feels like it's been diminished and now it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so, when Beetlejuice's head shrinks in the.
I got a different complaint too.
Oh, here we go.
If we have the technology to put the Adidas logo in the middle, and we've had virtual like signage and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
How come it's only with camera A? How come camera B on the sideline or the corner cam? How come then I'm looking at a blank canvas with an X on it?
That's a good question.
Why don't we have the technology to push it across all of our digital?
Do you want that? So you're saying that
it's disingenuous, Jason. Okay, if you're going to augment my reality, do it consistently.
I'm sure Alex Jermaine Jones has a theory about the ads at the MLS's back tournament.
I think I almost got myself in trouble. I don't have to do more Alex Jermaine Jones tonight.
Well, I was going to say that, it definitely breaks it breaks the mirage, right? It breaks the fakeness of it. You're going into this thing like, okay, obviously this is weird, but we got, at least with one channel, we got some fake crowd noise, and we've got this backdrop, and it looks like semi-legitimate. And then they cut to a different shot, a different angle on a replay or whatever, and suddenly it's blue screen everywhere. And look, Cheez-Its logos aren't in front of me anymore, and I feel weird and uncomfortable, Jared. I guess that's what you're
saying. So what I'm saying is that I feel like MLS coming out of this, I would like to see MLS take more control over their brand and presentation. If you're gonna have ESPN, Fox, and Tudden and putting out your games, they should all either be doing crowd noise or they all shouldn't. And then in addition to that, if you're going to prevent all this, what
you're saying MLS should act like a dictator here, like this, you have to do.
Have you not met MLS? You can't have smoke bombs sometimes. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can't. There's all sorts of stuff.
That's fans in their stadiums. They don't control ESPN. ESPN is bigger than MLS. MLS needs ESPN more than ESPN needs MLS. So they're never going to go.
I'm saying it is confusing to the average consumer to go from two different delivery systems of the same product have two such different experiences.
It is a little weird. It's a little jarring. It's a little. I will say this though, as well as I'm not sure which I like better. It's odd listening to Champion and Twelman, and I've said this already on our show, when there's no crowd noise and it's just like people yelling.
It would be like every week an episode of a show comes out and it's on two different channels, same show, but on one of them it's HD and one of them it's not.
That's okay. That's good. I was gonna say laugh track, no laugh track, or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing too. Like, why present your product in such two different ways?
Yeah.
It also makes it honestly look like you will do whatever the networks say they want to do, which is probably the way it actually is, but it's still not a good look. Do you think the NBA is putting up with that?
I don't know. So I'll say this, that the Fox broadcast, I like John Strong a lot. Had many chats with the guy. Jared, I have a radio show? I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
Yeah, I have a radio show. Talk to John Strong on that all the time. I think he maybe even did the Best Soccer Show back in the day. Like we didn't talk to him on this show.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I like Stu Holden, but I can't. I pull it up on the stream because I'm not always at a TV with a cable box, and not everybody has cable anymore anyway. And I pull up the FS1 stream, and I can't hear them. All I hear is the crowd noise. All I hear is the.
I don't feel the same way. I feel like I think once again you might be overreacting from the fact you're watching without crowd noise on the other channel so much.
I wonder if it's the stream that I've got has bad mixing, but if you were watching on regular
could be, and that's a danger of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's just you get this weird mix. Okay, so let me go through these round of 16 games, and we don't have time to break down all of those the quarterfinals.
Just tell me which one the Galaxy is in.
We don't have time to just go ahead real quick. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to push. Here's the button I wanted to push.
Unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars. Enjoy the party.
That was me pushing the button for the Galaxy. You did something wrong. That's what that sound was. You've done something wrong, LA Galaxy. Try again. That button doesn't do anything. That doesn't get you a better defender. You guys are screwed. All right,
there's nothing.
We don't have time to go through the round of 16, but all the games and results and how they happened. But I do want to talk about the quarterfinals. So, starting tomorrow, you got Philadelphia against Sporting Kansas City. This is like the most even matchup in the round.
I think that's the premier matchup, to be honest with you.
Do you really? Okay. All right.
I think I think Sporting Kansas City has underperformed so far this tournament. I think they have the ability to be better than what they've shown. And if just look at Alan Pulido, the way he plays. God dang it. I love watching that guy play.
Just look at Alan Pulido.
Just look how majestic he is up there, like a crane on a water.
You have to give me some Richard Attenborough when you do that. Alan Pulido is, I don't know how to do Attenborough, but go ahead. Yeah.
Out of its element of his native Mexico, looks even more exotic where he is now. And then Sporting Kansas City has the ability to be one of the best teams in the league. I really still truly believe that, and I think they've underperformed at this tournament. But Philadelphia is the team I think everyone can enjoy at this tournament.
Do you believe in the Philadelphia? I think this is a really legitimate question. We got a lot of Philly fans who listen to this program.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the Philadelphia Union, Jared?
I believe in them to make this final.
Wow.
I don't know if I believe it because listen, who they have to go through.
Right.
They have to go through Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, LAFC is on the other side.
Yes.
Minnesota's on the other side. Maybe the two most impressive teams so far at the tournament.
Oh, well,
and then you have Orlando, who's playing out of their minds over their head. Oscar Pereira's got them doing amazing things.
It is conspicuous you left out the name of another team, but I'll come to them in a second. Okay. But
that's fine.
I don't know about Premier because I think there's actually a little bit more spice in
you don't think the other side of that tournament is more weighted than the side that Philadelphia is in?
No. I'm saying that whoever wins the Philly Sporting Kansas City game is probably favorites to come out of that side of the bracket and make the final. Because in part I don't know if I believe in NYCFC yet because Toronto was that bad in the round of 16, and Maxi Morales did a great job on kind of cutting Michael Bradley out of the game, which we've seen before, by the way. You eliminate service into Michael Bradley's feet in midfield, and that wrecks everything Toronto FC wants to do.
Well, also they're playing without a striker. I mean, having Ao Akinola in that last game and Josie Altidore on the bench, that's just disaster. You're playing Pozuelo up top as a false nine. That's rough.
Right. No, that does change everything for them. All right, so that's the top half of the bracket. I'm gonna shade it to Philadelphia, Jared. I don't know what you got in that game.
I'm gonna take Philadelphia in that one.
Okay.
I think they're riding too hot right now.
NYCFC and the Portland Timbers. Okay,
I think NYCFC it walks through that game.
NYCFC arrives after thumping Toronto. Meanwhile, Portland just by the skin of their teeth gets by Nicky Soup and Sausages FC Cincinnati. You don't buy anything Portland is selling right now?
No, it's not. I'm not saying that. Portland 92% passing percentage. That's ridiculous in that game. I mean,
that says a lot about FC Cincinnati, but
exactly, and that's what the point I want to make.
Did you see the line of confrontation for FC Cincinnati? Did you see the block that they were playing the lowest block? That block is bouncing around South Central Los Angeles.
Let me make my point here. So it shows that they can move the ball. I mean, if you have a team with why am I blanking on the Argentina?
Diego Valeri.
Diego Valeri. Wow.
Sure.
If you have a team with Diego Valeri in it, you're going to be able to move the ball. You're going to get to the ball in all sorts of attacking positions.
Do things with him, but you still need other guys to connect with him.
And that's what I'm saying. What really tells me the story is this: is they didn't have the talent to break down Cincinnati in the end. They didn't. It's a 1-1 where they maybe potentially should have lost 2-1.
Yeah. That's
and so they won a shootout. Okay, but I look at Clark in the back. It was a cluster in that game.
Yeah. No, I
think Clark's a better keeper than that. I really don't think he is a clown in any way, but that's not a confident keeper right now going into this game.
I would say that's probably true. I will shade it to NYCFC as well. I don't know if they're favorites or they're going to walk it, because I think this tournament now starts to bog down and teams are tired and things are getting little extra cagey. I mean, obviously,
if Portland wins, I think it's Diego Chada's. It's his team, and it's his reason why.
Okay, well, the thing about this game that's different than what Portland faced against Cincinnati, and you did say that they struggled to break down FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati played the lowest of block, a block that needs a sump pump, a block that wins at limbo, a block. I mean, that was incredible. That's not what's going to happen with this game. NYCFC is going to be the one to take the game to the Timbers. And what do the Timbers do well with Diego Valeri and Sebastian Blanco and Jeremy Obobese?
Take advantage of space and counter.
They counter well. So I think it plays into Portland's hands just a little bit, but I still think NYCFC.
All right, let's go to a guy who watched this game really up close. Who you watched, Nick? That's your team. They played Portland last night. Who are you taking in this matchup?
Oh, that's a tough one. Because you're right. I don't think New York is going to sit back as much, if at all, like Cincinnati did. So if I'm having it, but it's a toss-up because I expected Portland to at least be able to break FC Cincinnati down. And they really only had the one.
When have they ever shown the ability to do that? They are all angle, speed, and counterattack. I mean, I'm not saying that they're the most counterattacking team in Major League Soccer, but think about when Diego Valeri's at his best. Think about when Jimmy Chara, who just came into this league, what he does well. Jeremy Obobese, what he does well. They get their fullbacks up the field a little bit.
But even with all that, they couldn't break down Cincy.
No,
and I get that they parked the bus.
Yes,
but they're also one of the worst teams in the league. Sorry, Nick.
But you put 10 men behind the ball, and you look. Switzerland beat Spain when Spain was at the heights. Greece won a European championship. You put 10 players behind the ball. You can make it. Yeah, Portugal. They let Cristiano Ronaldo do everything on attack and had 10 guys behind the ball. If you do that, you make it's the great leveler. It makes it so much harder. And if you don't have this is why I think LAFC is the favorites, because I think they break down anybody who's left in this tournament, even 10 men behind the ball. And I'm not sure another team in this competition can do that. But NYCFC is better at that, certainly, than Portland was. And that's the role reversal here, because Portland's going to sit, maybe not 10 men, but they're going to sit deeper. They're going to make NYCFC break them down, and I think they can do that. Maybe 2-1 kind of thing.
Well, which New York City team are we going to get? Are we going to get the team that played Toronto or the team that showed up in the group stage? Barely got by and into the round of 16.
The question is, if NYCFC wins this tournament, does Ronnie De La strip? That's the question everybody wants the answer to.
I hope not.
He's got a history of it. All right, other side of the bracket. So Orlando gets past Montreal and Titi Henry, and maybe not the most impressive game they played, but they got here, and a lot of people would have counted them out.
Yep.
And they get LAFC, who obviously walloped Seattle. Now, the thing about LAFC, who is the best team in the tournament, I still think, is Seattle made it easy on them. Xavier Arriaga had an absolute crap show of a game. It wasn't obviously the own.
That was some of the worst defense I've seen played.
Terrible. Shane O'Neill was complicit on the goal for Latif Blessing.
So I'll hold that back. Real Salt Lake maybe tried to make it worse. Okay. Real Salt Lake's defense might have been worse, but they're both shambles.
Okay, but this is clearly LAFC heavy favorites against the Lions, right? Any questions?
I think that they're the favorites. I think it's heavy, but I also think this might be the most fun one to watch. I think Oscar Pereira's style is starting to come into form here.
No. The other thing is that the way Oscar gets his fullbacks up the field, that is going to be incredibly dangerous against a team like LAFC.
But that's also against the LAFC defense that did not get tested in their game against Seattle and has leaked goals over this tournament until the last game.
Yeah, but I love this about Bob. He is so committed to it. He does not care, Jared. He's going to throw 8 guys into attack every single time.
I think he cares. I think it bothers him at night. I think it bothers him.
But I don't think it bothers him enough to make changes. What I think he thinks of this as individual responsibility. Like when we don't have the ball, when we are counter pressing, when we are in midfield trying to keep the opponent from coming down our throats, we need to do better individually. He doesn't see this as a tactical problem to fix. So you're still going to have Dejan Djokovic and Segura back there on an island trying to figure out how to defend. And maybe they'll give up a couple of goals, but they'll score 5 and it'll be okay in the end.
I think we have a caller that may want to talk about this.
We do have a caller who wants to talk about a team. Again, the team that you left out of your discussion earlier of maybe the team most impressive in the tournament, San Jose Earthquakes. Frank, what's up? Frank,
what's up, guys?
Go ahead, man.
All right. Just one thing before San Jose. Congrats, Jason. Congrats.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
I
still got rounds in the chamber. There was never any doubt, but I still got rounds in the chamber.
Nice. All right. So San Jose. I actually believe maybe not in the players, and like that's probably a little unfair. But I believe in Matias Almeida. If you like look at his past, especially like with Chivas, he got him like 2 titles, Liga MX, that weird Champions League run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy has an itch for like championship, style. What do you call it? Tournament settings, right?
Yeah.
I think people are sleeping on San Jose.
Okay, let's come to this.
I think he's saying he'd make a good national team coach because you're not always going to play this style of game in a normal season.
I think Matias Almeida is a specific kind of coach. He's the fixer, right? But he's the fixer for I don't know that over the course of an MLS regular season and then going into the playoffs, he's always going to do the best job. I think there's
he's the new Bor Milutinovic and the new Gus Hiddink.
Yeah, well, those guys are fixers on the national stage. I'm looking for an analogy where at his best, he's really good and he can get his team to buy in. And there's 100% commitment, and they play this wild style that just, gasses them and gasses everybody else. But there are certain moments when it gets away from him. His passion is too much. Like it's just,
like when teams start playing the Wildcat in the NFL, it's like, woo.
Well, it's like you have a friend, and they're really fun for a while, but like they just get really intense sometimes, and it's just
it's the friend that always convinced you that going out at 11 o'clock is a good idea.
That's right.
And it's like, wow, man, I wasn't gonna go out, but the way he makes it sound, it's Barney Stinson, man. It's gonna be legendary.
You wake up on a boat, you've lost your shoes, and there's a guy named I don't know,
Paulo.
Sure, that guy, or Tiny, or Salty. Where am I? What's happening? Yeah, I think Matias Almeida's team is kind of perfectly suited for this environment, and I think I agree with Frank that. I'm not saying people sleeping on them because I think people are waking up right now to the idea that
do you really think they have the pieces for long-term success though?
In this tournament?
I mean for the league.
No. Again, I don't think so. I think they may be able to finish 6th or 7th in a conference and make the playoffs, and then 1 or 2. But then you get into the tournament again, and then it's all bets are off, and that's all it is. All it should take for Matias Almeida. I do think,
but I know what you're saying though. Guys like Shea Salinas, guys like Tommy Thompson, these guys want a coach that's going to tell them, "I believe in you," because these are guys who have always wanted respect. They've always been on the edge of mainstream MLS success, and I feel they ever wanted was a guy to say, "Do your thing." Play your style. I believe in you. And I think guys like that blossom under that type of sun.
Yeah. By the way, I'm 100% on the Matias Almeida bandwagon. I'm with Frank. I'm joining the cult, dude.
So you're picking him to beat Minnesota, I hear.
I am picking them to beat Minnesota.
Wow.
And, yeah,
really?
It's not that I don't like Minnesota. I just think that this is a special circumstance that plays right into Almeida's hands. These guys are crazy. These guys are like the kamikaze of Major League Soccer. They're just going to go and run into a friggin' brick wall for this dude. And I love it. I think it's great. They don't have any guys that jump off the page. They got blousy Chris Wondolowski wearing shorts 2 sizes too big, still scoring goals, man.
Yeah, but okay, he's scoring goals. Come on, he tripped over that ball into the net.
Doesn't matter. He scored in the other 2 games before that. He's still
Okay.
out there.
Okay.
Don't disrespect Chris Wondolowski.
Okay. Here's what I'm not going to respect about Chris Wondolowski: the ability to get goals in knockout rounds of tournaments.
Whoa! I don't know, man. That's just
Damn, dog.
That's
in a pro.
wow.
I agree.
Frank, I got to let you go, man. We're running up against it. I appreciate the phone call. It was Frank in the OC. All right. Before we run out of time, we should acknowledge that the Houston Dash are NWSL Challenge Cup champions. I wanted to spend a little bit more time on that, partly on the fact that a lot of people watched that game on CBS on Sunday, even though it wasn't 2 of the big teams in the league. There weren't a bunch of stars. Julie Ertz is 5 national team players in Chicago. Morgan, I'm going to get it wrong. Gautreau, I think is her name now, instead of Brian. She changed her name, got married. Julie Ertz, obviously, as I mentioned. But Houston gets the deal done. It's Christy Mewis, it's Rachel Daly, it's Shea Groom getting the winner. It's
what I love about it though is that just like the women's national team, the women party better. They just party better, man. Like it's so much more fun to watch them as winners because I mean watching Christy Mewis just beer 30, man. Like it's a fantastic look. I love the way the women celebrate. Some people, and here's the part that's hard. There's people out there that think that's not ladylike or something. You heard that in the World Cup. You heard that. You know what? You work hard for something. You celebrate that.
No, they're athletes. They're happy. They're excited. They did, they're celebrating with their teammates. By the way,
hell yeah.
It's all over now because the time window has passed. But if you want to see, if you wanted to see those videos or see the inside the locker, a bunch of those players are putting them on Instagram, including Jamia Fields, which was hilarious. Jared, tell me they didn't make the NWSL Challenge Cup trophy an actual glass cup so that they could pour Budweiser into it and drink it. They totally did that.
They should have made it a playground slide and then poured the beer down the slide into their mouth.
They could have done a lot of different things with that, but I did enjoy just filling it up. They did it on the airplane. They filled it up with beer on the airplane and they're chugging it as they're taxing. She's like, this is my taxing drink.
And one other reason why they deserve to celebrate hard, even though it's just a tournament of a weird thing they got put together, they put their lives on the line for this. They put their personal lives on the line for this.
They did.
Celebrate this shit,
Yeah, celebrate it all. Celebrate it hard. Enjoy it. And they weren't supposed to win it. Now, again, North Carolina was supposed to win it because they were supposed to win everything. But North Carolina getting knocked off by Portland opened the window for the Dash or somebody, and they took it. And there was a penalty shootout in the round prior, and it wasn't always the prettiest thing, but they got it done. And I think it means a lot for women's soccer in Houston. Again, something like 650,000 people watched on television, which is the highest rating for an NWSL game ever. It is a unique situation, and there's a pandemic.
And while we're talking about NWSL and women's soccer, because we didn't have a show last week, we didn't get a chance to touch on Angel City and the LA rollout of there. And all I'm saying is that I want the supporters group or something in the stadium to be Natalie's Angels.
Okay, I gotta do it again. It's got to double up on this just because it's.
But unfortunately, this is Los Angeles. I need more than talent. I need stars.
Enjoy the party.
Enjoy the party.
Okay. I got to roll it out again. The Angel City thing. I'll come to the supporters in a second. The Angel City thing. So when they announced this, and it is Mia Hamm, and it is Natalie Portman, and it is some tech people with cash, and it's women. It's Alexis Ohanian, obviously married to Serena Williams. It's their 2-year-old daughter who has a stake in this through them. It is.
Yeah, he gave his. Nick didn't know that. I guess that he gave his stake in the company to his 2-year-old daughter.
Yes, she's the youngest pro sports owner or something. Obviously, she doesn't know what's going on, but she's there. She's got her share. It's all those people. The word is that Angel City is a placeholder. That's kind of a weird move.
Please don't.
No, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I would have loved for LAFC or the LA Galaxy to have gone this direction in the first place. Now, granted, the only thing that might deter it is that the LA Galaxy supporters group is the Angel City Brigade.
Sure.
But I mean, I think you can get past that. And wouldn't you want those fans to have a female team of choice anyway and make it kind of like a commingled thing?
Well, so there's a bit of controversy bubbling up around that. And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, and I'm not in LA, and I'm not in the groups with the Galaxy or with LAFC. But I think there are people, including including a couple of friends of the program, who are pushing for this to be a way for the LA soccer community to come together and support one team and not make it about, oh, I'm a Galaxy fan, I'm an LAFC fan, they're connected.
There's a danger there.
Yeah, exactly. And people obviously get sensitive, and we're very tribal. And when you say, well, they might play at the Galaxy joint, I can't root for them. I'm an LAFC fan, or they have a
Colors
LAFC owner. Mia Hamm is involved. I can't root for them. They're an LAFC team. I can't. I'm an LA.
I'll be honest with you. It would be tough for me if it was an LAFC branch off. It would be tough for me. I'm not. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It would be a tough thing for me to do.
But first of all, that's not how they're positioning it. No one's ever said this is a thing connected to LAFC.
But that's what I'm saying. Their colors have to be different than either of those two teams.
Yeah, sure. They have to do that. Shout out to Valeria, by the way, whose name I was trying to remember. She's an LAFC fan, but she's obviously pushing for this to be an opportunity to come together. Again, I don't know a ton about that. The other thing I'll throw out here, and we'll just move on from the more serious stuff. I did see that there's a supporters group that has formed, and they have gone with Revolution 99 as the name of the team. Now, I'm assuming that's a reference to the 99ers, Jared, and the World Cup win, which was obviously in Southern California, and Mia Hamm and some of the people that are attached to that. I'm sorry, Rebellion 99. I get Revolution. Rebellion 99. Thank you, Nick. I don't mind the name, but I will say it does sound like some craft beer I'm supposed to go pick up because a buddy told me to try it.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting name, but I don't know that there's any good. It's what they're doing is better than anything Charlotte FC is doing. There's a ton of teams out there that are doing worse than them in terms of branding.
I will take exception to one thing on Charlotte FC, which we didn't talk about that. We were off the air. We didn't talk about that last week. The one thing Charlotte FC did that was good is they sent me a bunch of stuff. So thank you very much to Charlotte FC for sending me.
That's because you have a show.
I have a radio show. I'm not sure you knew that. But
that must mean you have an address they can send things to.
Now, look, if you were not already claimed by the LA Galaxy, I imagine you might get more stuff. Should we ask for Charlotte to send you some gear, Jared? Would you take it?
I want some Providence. I want Providence stuff, man. Their stuff is badass.
Their stuff is badass. They're not Major League Soccer, but they're doing cool stuff.
Fine, it's okay. They're a different league. I can support them.
I saw somebody that you and I know wearing a Providence FC shirt
today.
Yeah, today, just a couple hours ago. Those things are dope as hell. The other thing about Charlotte.
I want Detroit City stuff. I want Tulsa stuff. I want anything Matt Wolf does in a lower league.
You just hit Nick's kryptonite with the Midwestern Detroit City reference. He's not down.
I'm sorry, dude. Down. They look better than your medieval times tunics. Okay, their stuff is way better.
So the thing about Charlotte that I saw, and look, I don't like the name. I wanted more creativity. They went with the safe pick. Okay, whatever. They went with the medallion, the coin shape, because there's a minting history in Charlotte. Okay, I can buy it. They put minted in 2000.
It didn't look enough like a coin to me. They could have done more to make it look like a coin to me.
Well, I actually do have a coin with that logo.
I saw that.
Okay.
In your box of things that you got, yes, I saw that you put online to troll me.
Yeah. If by the way, if you send me a soccer shirt, I'll wear it on this show. I mean, I'm gonna.
Oh, he'll make sure I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have way too many LAFC shirts. I can't wear them all the time. I do have a San Jose Earthquakes jersey, which I didn't wear tonight. I could have done that too. I made a choice. I wore the jersey of the team that fired their coach because they lost all 3 games and didn't score a goal. So that's what I did. I was going to say,
you know what you've never worn on the air? A Galaxy piece of Galaxy paraphernalia.
The Galaxy have never sent me any wearable item.
That's right. They know talent.
What does that even mean? I don't even know.
I've gotten free stuff from Galaxy, baby.
To feel respect for the game.
I don't know why that fit, but I felt like that fit.
I got some great sweat shorts that I've worn to the point where there's holes in them that they gave me.
Okay. All right. Shout out. But by the way, Brendan, hook me up. Can I just say that?
No.
Yeah, Brendan, hook me up. I'm
That's
here.
the one thing I get, dude.
There are people who got the Charlotte logo. I believe both the coin version, the main logo, and that script sort of looks like it says CLT.
Like the embossed kind of.
Yeah, it's a secondary logo. It's got that Detroit, that I don't even know who else does so. St. Louis Cardinals kind of STL. It's like that, right? They've already got it tattooed, Jared. Is that the move? Getting it tattooed before they step on the field, before they have a player, before they have a coach, anything? Is that the move?
I think there are a ton of till I die tattoos that people really regret.
Do you think this is? No, they're not going to change it. They're
You know what?
popular.
There's somewhere out there. There's a dude with a Seattle Supersonics tattoo that really wishes he had thought differently.
No, he probably thinks of it as a badge of pride, a badge of honor, because they.
What I
left
did do is it says Kemp forever underneath it.
The worst is probably in American soccer terms. The worst is if you went and got that brand new Louisville City logo that they announced, got it
then they changed it,
and then they retracted it, and then they went and took it back.
Maybe if more people had tattooed the Chicago emblem, they would have changed that.
Maybe there's some old school MLS logos.
It's still horrid, dude. I know it's like months later. It's still horrid.
It's the worst. They should take it back. I don't know why they have it.
If they give you Chicago Fire gear, are you going to wear it?
Wow. I will ponder that choice. I will have.
I will clown you if you do.
I will think about it. It depends on what it is. It depends on the quality.
Chicago Fire.
Of the merchandise.
I like your team. I like a lot of stuff about you. Don't send me your gear.
You're gonna make so many enemies out there.
Send me your players. I'd love to talk to your players. Send me your coach. I'd love to talk to your coach.
But
I'm not gonna rock your gear.
You think he's the handsomest man in Major League Soccer? People are.
I do. I do.
Okay.
No, Vicky is absolutely the handsomest man. Handsomest coach. I've made that clear. Handsomest coach. Send me your coach. We'll put him on video. I will make eyes at him all night. But if he's wearing any of your gear, I'm gonna go like this when I talk to him and cover the amount. I'm gonna cover him with my hand, everything but his face.
Okay. I don't know where that's going. I don't really want to know where that's going, but that's what that is. All right. Mr. Dubois, anything else? Again, reiterate that this is the penultimate. It's a good word, by the way. Penultimate JD in the Rod.
Big words and it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I got to flex a little bit. Penultimate JD in the Rod. Next week's show will be the final edition of this program, but then the Best Soccer Show launches August 11th. Think about what that day is. Think about what might be happening that day. You'll figure it all out. Big guests already on we're already locked it in, Jared. It's already happening. We know exactly what's going to go down. Really excited for it. I think it's our glorious return. You could consider this like our preseason. The JD and the Rod experience was like our preseason. And now we're going
Camp Cupcake
into the real. That's exactly what it was. And we got called up to the senior team and we're getting the go ahead.
I need to work on my fitness.
You got to do the beep drill, man. You got to do the beep test. See where you're at.
I do the beer test.
All right. Anything else that we should pass along to the people before
Patreon? Remember, even once the new show goes live, Patreon will stay still out there, and bonus content will be going through the Patreon. So if you want to get more of the show, take part in the Slack. Today we're gonna have a little bit bonus show with a guest on it. So definitely, we had a Zoom 2 weeks ago that we didn't get to talk about.
Yeah,
we had a good time having a Zoom on one of our bonus shows. So a lot of stuff out there if you're a Patreon member. So Patreon, JD and the Rod.
And I'll sell it this way. I mean, obviously we're going to make some extra stuff for you. And there's maybe some trinkets done and this is another thing, because JD and the Rod is ending and the Best Soccer Show is returning. The t-shirts that we have at On the Volley are limited edition. Never going to happen again with that logo. There are some left.
And, Elvis found a few more, just so you know. I don't know if he put you on that, but he found a few more. So there are some more out there. Right,
he looked under a couple of boxes and he found some more JD and the Rod shirts. And that name is going to kind of live, but it's not going to live that way. So get your hands on those at On the Volley.
Soccer Collector's Eye.
Yeah, I think, Nick, you have something here?
I was going to say, now the show's, I guess it's ending. All those iTunes reviews.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to get more of those with the new feed. So
and more creative. Some of y'all did some good work. Some of y'all did some really good work.
Let me say this, okay? And I'll say this for everybody on the main show, and we'll talk about it with the besties on the Patreon, the bonus show as well. We need our foot soldiers. We need our besties out there to help us spread the word that not only are we doing a show, but the Best Soccer Show with that name, with all kinds of guest getting power and all kinds of stuff. Incredible stuff is coming, but we need you to help spread the word through all your soccer friends, whether they were old besties or not. Tell them #BSS is back, and that's what we're going with. It kind of sums it all up. The Best Soccer Show is back right at the same time as MLS is back, is getting wrapped up. So
and ready to take this national team to a World Cup.
That's right, man. It's on us, right? We felt the pressure. We answered the call. That's what you do when you care as much as we do, Jared. That's what you do.
Yeah.
All right. I mentioned the t-shirts. I was going to quickly sell the Patreon by saying this. It's the bonus content, shorts, some other things, but really it's about that Slack. There are beer trades happening in that Slack. There are people are giving recommendations for all kinds of stuff. We're helping with some information for somebody who's doing a cross country move.
There's whole diagrams, schematics about better systems of soccer.
Yes.
Of like how to do this tournament differently, how to do. I mean, Mike and Philly's got his spreadsheets working.
There's betting tips happening out there.
Oh, there are betting tips happening out there.
Jimmy has got the betting tips that fell off the truck for you. If you really want to know what's going on to get some scratch out of MLS's back or whatever else happens, that's where you go to the Bestie Slack. So hit us up on Patreon at JD in the Rod, patreon.com/JD in the Rod. All right, that's it. I got nothing else. Mr. Dubois, what you got? Yeah,
I got a bonus show on tap.
All right, Mr. Soup and Sausage, thank you very much for your work as always. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Duh, and or hello.
Danger zone! It's incredible! Eddie, what are we doing? Who asked those questions? Oh, baby! Oh, would you look at that? An absolute firecracker.
Damn, dog. You're the pros.
The horror show. Oh, it's incredible!
Woo!
Jay Rodius.